But I want to ask you guys something. Do you guys plan like, this New Year resolution thing that people do at the end of the year? Oh, I pray that this is gonna happen. I'm planning my life from now till June. I'm gonna have so amount of money in my account, and at the end of the day, nothing happens.
100%.
I made a vision board last year.
Can I get a thingy out my car? I'll bring. Can I?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
The thing, like, with what she said, I feel like a lot of us have done that where we have looked at, we've all wrote down something that we wanted for ourselves. We do vision board parties and things like that. We start like putting stuff on a board, posting it. We look at it every day. Okay, that's going to be the thing. January 1st. We love to declare every year is going to be our year. And what if that year is opposite? What if it's opposite of what we actually planted for ourselves? I don't typically like to, let me just say this. I'm still working on this, but I know that having like New Year's resolutions and praying for things in advance, eventually it would discourage me. It would discourage me. I'm gonna keep it 100. It would discourage me because I feel like that's not what I prayed for. That's not what was on my board. Yeah. And I feel like if I do declare these things, maybe my hopes get too high.
Yeah.
And so therefore, I'm like, I shouldn't have anything to look forward to. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I shouldn't expect it.
I pray for I know whenever I want something, like I definitely do tell like God what I want. I say it because I am definitely somebody who believes in the power of words, like what you say to people, what you speak on yourself.
Yeah.
I do tell God what I want, but I also do follow it with God, let it be your will. Okay. And let it also, let me accept, because as you were asking, I kind of remembered in this moment, like the certain things that I did pray for the previous years and kind of what I continue on praying for is let me accept if it's not. So even though this is what I want, and I be wanting it hard. Even though this is what I want, I still want your will. And then help me accept the fact that it might not be.
Do we really want his will?
Girl,
if the Lord wants it for me, I already know whatever he wants is good for me. So I want it.
100%. And I agree with you. And I know that for me in 23, when I'm like, oh, Lord, I just want your will. Oh, I just want this. I just want that. And it actually went opposite of what I wanted. Mm-hmm. I ain't gonna lie, my faith kind of dwindled.
You're going to have to pray for acceptance.
That
was me praying for acceptance.
This year and last year.
It's weird because we be chalking it up, but I don't know, talking to you always feeds my... So she asked, do we make plans? Remember when I left to Seattle, my mom was sick. Mm-hmm. And I remember praying and fasting and doing everything I was supposed to do. And I said everything I'm supposed to do. What are we supposed to do? Mm-hmm. I came to Houston on the 9th of November, 2015. I remember we got our first bonus, one of our first quarterly bonuses, $10,000. It was $9,556.18 because they took taxes off. And I remember looking back and my mom was struggling to breathe because cancer sucks. And I remember vividly because I prayed for that. I remember when I was 16, I said, I want to make 6 figures without getting a doctorate. Guess what? I was doing that in 2015. Mm. And then a cousin that I met serendipitously, my mom told me, oh, hey, since you are in DC, go see your cousin Sophie. I went and saw my cousin Sophie for the first time, never met her. This is my mom's eldest brother's child. Sophie's old enough to be my mom. Kicked it with her. And Sophie was like, hey, Akos, so I'm going to be flying to Seattle. I'm going to see you shortly. And I picked her up on the 14th. So I left Houston, got to Seattle that weekend. I picked her up on the 14th. Hung out with Sophie in Seattle on the 15th. On the 16th, I was in Sophie's hotel room and I'm like, so what happens? Do people get better? Do people get healed and stuff? And she was like, cancer is really weird. Some people make a miraculous recovery. Some people go from healthy and then that's it. And on the 17th at 1:24 a.m., I said, we're going to breathe in the healing, breathe out the cancer. And Lord, whatever you do, I know I always quoted Romans 8:28. At 5:45 a.m., I woke up getting myself ready to go to work. And I had 8 missed calls. I had 3 missed calls from Sophie. And I was like, y'all got I got a sick parent, you know, this shit ain't funny. And the pastor in Seattle said, hey, Nana, can we talk? I need to talk to you. I was like, sir, I'm getting ready to go to work, but okay. Came to my apartment and he was like, we need to talk at my house. I was like, I know I work remote sometimes and I can baby, but I can't do that right now. And he was like, he took my phone from me and I was like, okay, whatever. And then he told me what he told me. And they're like, it turns out at 3:24 a.m., your mom passed away. And I said, no, because 3:24 a.m. is 1:24. That's when around the time I went to sleep, that's the time I finished my meditation. And I said, Lord, whatever you do, I accept it. So no, accepting the Lord's will, it was fuck that nigga on blood. And when I say fuck that, I'm talking about God. I was good on him. So when she asked, do you make plans? I stopped making plans. Do I talk to him? And sometimes I don't even know if God is, do I talk to God? I be talking to God. But do I sit here and I make plans for myself? I can tell you that, like, I have everything I've written down. You see, I've been crossing. I have everything I've written down upside down, Bible verses and all that stuff. I've written it down. This is the couch. This is the couch that is sitting in my living room right now. I wrote it down and I sketched it out. But do I make plans? No. Because I made plans for her to be better so I can eat Thanksgiving. I made plans so that when I get this check, I can pay for her, my dad, and AJ for us to go to Ghana. I made plans. And I feel like I just stopped because it was fuck that nigga on blood. And God, I know you're like, oh, she's mad right now, but she'll be fine. This is the time of year. It all comes back.
First, this is what I was telling this one right here. It's the type of year that I had. It makes me not want to make plans because if you are like, especially if it's a year that's opposite of what you actually wanted, you could have like I said 2023 was going to be the year of all years. And good things happened this year. I'm not going to sit here and say all bad things happened. Good things happened this year. However, I also was like, man, I'm scared to make a plan. I'm scared to expect disappointment again. Yeah. And, I always did, but I did, as I reflect on 2023, I think about the good things that did happen. So it's like, can I still be hopeful? Can I still have joy? Can I still have peace? Can I still say, you know what? There is more to come. Can I still declare that? And it's like, okay, yeah, I can. But I was like, I actually can do that. Yeah. I actually can do that. But again, it makes, like, can we still make plans? Yeah, and here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with making plans. We have to be okay with how he orders our steps. Yeah. And it's not going to be in the order that we want. Because you know how we make plans. It's kind of like, how like every day we wake up, we're getting ready for work. Mm-hmm. We get up, we brush our teeth, take a shower, whatever, get ready for work, and then we go. That's the same order every day. We want an order like that where we know the plans. We're in charge, we're in control. But that's not every year. There's some things that, like, especially if you're asking and you're praying for things, oh Lord, you do your will. He's literally going to do just that. Yeah. And he will leave your will out of it. He will leave your plans aside.
Most of the time it's not what you want.
No.
I can relate to what she experienced because I lost my dad when I was 8. And I remember sitting in that church and my aunties, my uncles, and everybody's telling me, this is all a part of God's plan. And thinking that that's supposed to make me feel better.
That's like the most horrible thing to tell someone that's grieving. I don't know why people say that.
I don't know. But for a long time, I was just as angry. And I was like, didn't understand. I'm just like, well, if this is God's plan, why am I being punished? I'm only 8 years old. I'm a kid. Like, you took my dad. I was so mad. I was so upset. And that's one of the things, even looking back on this past year, I've gotten deeper within my faith and rediscovering what my faith actually is, you know, and it had been, over 20 years since I had stepped foot in a church, but not stepped foot in church because I've been to church, but like at
intentionally,
intentionally, yeah, exactly. So I definitely get that. I wouldn't say throw the whole year away.
Yeah,
you know,
just pieces of it.
Just
go ahead, take your little chunk.
little pieces of it.
Little chunk and go.
I always try to find like the lessons and the L's that I have to take. You know, coming out of 2022, like I was heartbroken. I was really sad, and not just like within my failed relationship, but I lost my grandfather too, who became my dad after my dad had passed. So not only am I grieving, you know, a family member, I'm grieving a relationship, and I was just really sad.
Talk about that, grieving a relationship.
Man,
girl. Talk about that.
And even as I
one you really want, I wanted it. I'm okay now, but I did.
Girl, it's okay not to be okay, because sometimes I'm not.
I really am fine, but it's like sometimes I don't like to talk about how much I really wanted it.
Yeah,
that be the part I be trying to breeze over.
It's kind of embarrassing though sometimes, right?
Yeah,
I really wanted this to work.
I'm fine now. I'm finally able to say I really wanted it.
And see, when you get to that place, you can have hope.
Yeah.
When you get that's why I love what you said, because I feel like there's a time for everything.
Yeah.
There's a time for everything. There's a time for sadness. There's a time for joy. There's a time for tears. There's a time for everything. But we can still have hope.
Yeah.
Because there's always I feel like there's always joy in the morning. There's always joy in the morning. Like
there's always something to look forward to. Like, because things really just don't be going the way you want it. So of course, do your part, grieve how you want to, take as much time as you need as well. Like I'm never one to just like rush the grief, whatever it is, feel it. Like feel all the emotions. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to come back to it because it might even hit you worse. So let's feel it. Let's take our time. Let's be in it. Something good is coming, and that's. And it don't have a time frame either. So it might be a minute, but just know, like, be hopeful in the fact that something good is coming. Because it'll be trash if you just like, I need it tomorrow. It'll come when it comes. I'm learning, like, I don't really have control over a lot. Yeah, I don't have control over a lot. So I really just control what I can and not really accept what's given, but it's just like I can't fault myself for it. I can't fault those around me, like unless it's really somebody that caused this for real. But if it just so happened, life really be lifing. Life really just happens, and I can't control a thing. I can't control a thing as much as I want to. I want to real bad.
No, I think that's one of the lessons that I learned this year is that I don't have control over anything. You know?
What do you have?
So
if it's not control, then what? And this, it's so easy for me to spiral into negativity. Y'all don't let that happen. Like, don't let me talk shit like I'm a sad bitch. Nah, this is a bad bitch talking right now.
Right.
So what do we have then if we don't have control?
You don't have control, but you know what you do have control over? Your response.
And your peace.
You have control
your peace,
of your response. And here's the thing. A wise man once told me, joy is a choice. Happiness is a choice. If you choose to wallow in your agony, that's a choice. Because no one's going to make you and tell you need to be sad. This is a moment of grief. This, no, it's a choice, And here's the thing. You can be sad.
Yeah.
It's okay to not be okay.
Yeah, you can choose that. That's fine.
But you don't have to dwell in it. Don't make it your dwelling place. Of course I have my moments of being pissed off, angry, sad. Who doesn't have those moments? But if there's one thing I know, you will get tired of it. One day you just wake up and be like, I'm done. I'm tired. You get tired of being sick and tired, but even with that, because I think you mentioned something about you don't want to revisit something. Here's the thing though. And because back to when people say throw the whole year away.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't you think a part of me feels like you should revisit it?
Mm-hmm.
I say that because sometimes we're running away from challenges and issues that will eventually catch up to us in the next year. Some of us wonder why our year sucks, or the years as we keep going sucks. Honestly, because we haven't revisited those things that we haven't forgiven. A lot of us haven't forgiven ourselves, forgiven our past, and they will chase after you faster than you left it. So I know for me, I had to forgive myself. I had to forgive a lot of things, because people think it's just forgiving people.
Mm-hmm.
No. I feel like revisiting those certain circumstances actually helps you when you can face that challenge in the face. You are building character.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I feel like you should revisit it. I know that some people don't feel like they should.
I think when I said you don't want to like revisit it, I mean like revisit it in a negative space.
Okay.
Like I feel like in order to, when you do revisit it, you want a clear mind. You want to be able to, assess like how you felt in that moment. Like you just don't want to address it negatively, is what I'm saying. That's about it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Like, I feel like
where you're back feeling those emotions that you tried to suppress before.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas instead, now it's like, okay, I'm coming back to it. I'm now able to see it in a different light. I can even learn from
it takes time. Like, it does. It does take time.
But sometimes if it's a negative thing and a negative memory, that's just what it's gonna be. Mm-hmm. And every time I'm thinking about it, I'm pissed again. But
you might be able to also like in you being upset, you might now be able to make like a little light joke about it. Like, okay, it was still fucked up. Yeah. But I'm move on before I get real mad. But it was
real mad.
Yeah.
Real big mad.
So that's all I mean. Like, because I understand, like, yes, you might still be upset. It may still hurt you. Mm-hmm. And whatever it is was negative. So it does make sense that you will feel negativity, but at least you won't fall back into that space before. Like, really be in it so that you don't have to be there anymore.
Yeah. I try not to, like, I think of it, somebody told me this, like, think of some of those thoughts or those things as like passing clouds in the sky. Like, you look at it, you acknowledge, you're like, oh, that's a negative thought. Yeah, that sucks. But then let it go.
Yeah, exactly.
And move on to the next thought, move on to the next thing. And don't let those clouds passing the sky become like hurricanes and tornadoes and so you start to spiral.
This is reminding me of like those cartoons with that one single cloud that's raining on you that follows you. You don't want that. You want it to be a passing cloud.
Let him pass. You see it, you're like, oh, yeah, that sucked. All right. And then keep it moving.
Mm-hmm. I hear you and I feel y'all, but I know for the years that cloud just felt like it would not go.
Mm-hmm.
It was because of the people on the outside who kept calling. When I tell you, my partner here called and called and called. This is back when I had an Android and I did not know of Do Not Disturb. And I would just watch my phone ring and be like, I have no good news to tell her. And I'll just let it ring. Then when you asked how I was moving back to Houston, I felt like a dog coming back with a tail between the legs. Like, I felt ashamed. I felt scared. And everybody in Houston breathed this sigh of relief. Like, okay, you're okay. We just wanted to make sure that you're okay. And I was like, oh, but y'all, I'm not successful no more. They're like, girl, but you're still alive. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't have a job. And they're like, yeah, but you're still Nana. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm Nana with a hole in me. They're like, yeah, but that's what we're here for. And I'm like, oh. So that cloud didn't pass because of me. My cloud passed because of everybody who kept pulling me outside of the circumstance I felt I was in. Yeah, your joy is a choice. It is. But sometimes it feels like God, when it comes to dealing cards, they just give you this one.
It's always a wild card.
Shake it. And I'm like, okay. In retrospect, it's like, wow, Nana, that shit was rough. Good for you, baby girl. But while it was happening, it was trenches.
Mm-hmm. It feels permanent.
It felt very,
it feels very permanent when you're there. It just feels so permanent.